Love.
Okay. Well, I am Tag, the holistic artist with kissmyartsy.com, and we have Tracy Constantine with themotherhouse.org. And so let's begin.
Hey, yo. Yeah, so I guess what we could talk about first off here is plot twists in life and how at least for me, I really get caught up in how I think things are going to look like, or um, not only that, but a part of me. I'm trying to think of what exactly it lends to, because everything lends to um, the dynamics that you were either born into or ancestral or many lifetimes or whatever, but kind of how they all play in and like ultimately how you project yourself into the world. And a
Mhm.
lot of times what I see, the pattern that I see is that I'll get into something and then it's like all or nothing. Like
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, go
I
ahead.
I used to be that person, just jump in, all or nothing. And what I've learned during that over the course of my life is um, I'm a big picture thinker. I think of the bigger picture and then I start working on it backwards so it can unfold day by day. Um, it's
Ooh, can you tell me a little more about that? Wait, so you okay, so you think about the big picture of what's going on and then you work backwards?
Yeah, I work backwards. uh,
Okay, cool.
and it took me years to identify this about myself. And all this time I thought I was doing it wrong, but I wasn't. I was just doing it the way how I understand how to process things. And so watching it unfold day by day is exciting to me. So I have, instead of a to do list, I have a done list. And this is what helps me stay on target and stay focused. And also by working with the moon cycles, I'm able to work ahead of schedule than what is traditionally taught. You have this to-do list and you just mark off what it is that you get done during that day. And so I felt as though it was always overwhelming for me because I'd have like a laundry list of to dos. And it's like, how can I expect to get all of this done in one day? And it was like a bunch of little tasks that would take hours to do one thing. So what I found myself doing was sacrificing the things that I enjoy doing, like spending time outside in the dirt, playing in the garden, planting seeds, you know, just doing the hobbies and stuff that I really enjoy. So I was sacrificing myself at nobody's request.
Yeah.
It was just self-inflicted. And so all this time I thought I was living life wrong, but really and truly, um, I wasn't. I just think differently and I manage my life differently. And so what I've stopped doing is I stopped sacrificing myself to get done this to-do list that's never ending, because as soon as I do, 5 tasks from a 50 task list, I wasn't getting anywhere because I had more onto that list. And so I didn't like the way how my life day by day seemed to have to be checking off boxes, just checking it off, not really having any joy behind it. So what I did was that I scrapped the to-do list, and I would have a goal list of 5 things to match the 5 calendar weeks. Even if we had 4 weeks in a calendar, if I didn't do any of those 4 or 5 things, if I didn't do any of the 5 things, it would just go on to the next goal list, or I would just reevaluate it and say, well, okay, maybe I don't need this. So when I started doing a to-done list, closets started to be cleaned out, things in my kitchen seemed to get organized because I felt like I was whistling while I worked. You know what I mean? So when I would get in the kitchen to do a meal, which I spend most of my time in the kitchen anyway, and I don't find it as a woman thing. I find it as a nurturing thing, because when you cook for yourself, you're nurturing yourself. That is a mother divine instinct. And so I would just start lining up forks and spoons and, creating an easier way to love myself. The same thing in the bathroom. Instead of having a shower each day, it becomes, oh, I'm nurturing my skin by taking a bath. I'm nurturing my skin to add salts and herbs to my bath water and facials and stuff. And so it helped me align with the projects that I enjoy doing and the hobbies that I enjoy doing, to do more self-care, more self-love, without making a big deal about it, like an announcement. It's like I always had to announce to the world, well, to my family, look, I'm going to go in here and take a bath. Do not disturb me unless you're bleeding through every pores of your body. Just handle it, and it never really felt relaxing because after making this announcement, it's like everyone was at the door, needing something at the bathroom door. So it wasn't anything enjoyable. So now that I do a done list, it's filled with the things that I want to do in my environment, the things that I want to do in my business, the thing that I want to do with myself. And things are just like getting accomplished. So I hope this makes sense.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it does. The part that I would like to look at a little bit deeper is, so the like looking at the big picture um and then moving backwards. And so I guess, what could you give an example of, like, what the big picture would look like? I mean, it is a big picture meaning like what's going on in all components of your life, and or is the big picture like the next 10 years?
well, for me, and I'll use my past work experience for this. When I decided to go into entrepreneurism, I was leaving a very toxic corporate environment, and it was draining. And it was just scarring trauma, And so when my boss came to me and said that we want someone else to take over your department after I cleaned it out, I I trained the real estate agents who were assigned to me, who have proved that they are reliable people that I could add to my team. I trained them on relocation processes because it's all income driven for the employer. Okay. So I didn't want to have real estate agents that were so caught up with having to pay a 38% commission on a home sale or a home purchase and coach their clients that I gave them for that relocation to coach them to sue their employer, because this is all contract driven. And I was responsible for getting the contracts, bringing them back to my department, making sure that they have a home search agent or a home sale agent that could go above and beyond what the standard real estate agent's job is supposed to do. Because they got to fill out paperwork and, it's a whole corporate move. And so after I had cleaned out that department, trained the real estate agents, and was getting business on a regular basis, they told me, well, we want this other person in your position because she looks like us and we want her to be the face of relocation. And I was like, well, here's my resignation. I quit because I didn't go in there to lift somebody else up. I went in there to create an environment, a working environment that I wanted to retire from. And that didn't happen. And it really just broke my heart because I had to look at what I sacrificed to achieve that status. And it was family gatherings, a portion of my kids' upbringing. I couldn't be at two places at one time. And vacations that I passed up on, just the things that make us whole as a person. And so I decided to step into entrepreneurism, and I ended up opening up a dance studio. And one lady who I fed her real estate, I fed her agents because she was a broker within a broker. I fed them business on a regular basis. And we're talking about homes that were between 500,000 to, a couple of $1 million, simply because these are corporate moves, And she told me that I was fucking crazy, was her words. Well, she said that for two reasons. One is she wouldn't be able to capitalize off the book of business that I was giving her agents.
And you were had the dance studio at this point, or you were still in corporate?
I was exiting corporate. I had opened up my dance studio. I had gave them, because my boss did not want to accept my resignation.
You were in between. You were still doing some. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm working, two jobs at once and raising family, which is exhausting. And so, I agreed to give her 90 days. Okay. So I could train the next person to come along after me, and it would be a smooth transition. And it wasn't anything like that. Luckily, with the dance studio, I was able to run it in the evenings. Classes took off at 7:00, 7 till 10. And I ran my department between my house, the dance studio, and also the office.
Mm-hmm.
So I became mobile, and it was a year later. I'm working as a consultant for the company. A year later, still pretty much kind of running the department,
Mm.
and trying to run my business at the same time. And it was very challenging. However, the picture that I had in my mind was to produce a business that I could sell and retire from and live the rest of my life. So I put processes and structure in position in order to uh, let my vision unfold. So that meant I needed to, because I wanted to compete. I'm an athlete on top of everything else. So I have, energy breeds energy. To sit behind a desk all day long was really killing my drive and my body, my mental state. And during this course, I knew I had like a 12 to 20-year plan. So 12, if I couldn't maintain a partnership with another competitive dancer to compete, and also I had no doubt that I could create a client base that was able to be locked in at my studio, because I was networking with people where I used to live at LA, Colorado. I never lived in Atlanta, but Atlanta was pretty close to Dallas in order to create a connection there. And so the bigger picture was to have a network of athletes and creatives just in the business of performance and dance, because that's what I enjoy doing. I wanted to create this collective there in Dallas to have these people to be able to cultivate their dance skills and their creativity, because no one else was offering this at that time.
Mhm.
So that's the bigger picture that I had, was there wasn't any other dance studio that could house other creatives and performers. And there was companies across that is pretty worldly, that's established not only in California but in New York, and then all the major metropolitan cities. Okay, doctors want to operate or doc, um, um, astronauts want to go to the moon or whatever planets, but they have headquarters in different locations to be able to achieve this. And this is my bigger picture, was creating a facility to have this hub that could manage to give creatives a space to collaborate. And as that process was unfolding, I met some amazing people during this. To go day by day to say, oh, I'm only going to do ballroom, or I'm only going to do dance fitness, or I'm only going to be one thing, it wasn't appealing to me. It just didn't fulfill that consistent hunger that I have to learn and do and be more. And so as this process was happening, I connected with a bunch of beautiful people and some not so good people in the process. However, you got to take the good with the bad. I just had this end vision that I was going to sell my business, and but I was going to sell it and continue competing as long as I possibly could, and to incorporate my holistic practice in it, because while you're dancing, you learn a lot about yourself. Any type of industry, and one thing about dance, it's a full contact sport that you can do indoors with a full face of makeup, high heel shoes on, these ballroom gowns, and it's constantly personal development. You're pushing your body to its maximum. Not only that, but you have to self-motivate. It's a way how you talk to yourself to be able to push beyond any type of limitation that has manifested in from the time you begin to the time that you're at now in the present. And so not only that, but you also have to feed yourself food that is conditioned to being productive and also producing. So it's a lot of healing food, or I call it live food, that adds water to the body, minerals, flexibility, groundedness. And so, you can't go eat a whole dish full of macaroni and cheese and expect
Come on.
to be able to have stamina to through 9
Right.
songs,
Right.
during
You
time.
do. Yeah.
Exactly.
I
And
do. And I do see now your connection, and I think it is brilliant, to be honest with you, that have segued into incorporating the holistic world into your already proficient and expansive dance
mhm,
arena.
yes. And so I took those skills that I learned in corporate, I took them to be able to network with people, to speak to them one-on-one, to be able to reach out via phone or email or whatever platform to cultivate a network. I used those skills that had kept me crippled and pigeonholed in one box, and that was to bring in clients for the company so the company could make money, and they put a new face on it. You know what I mean? So I've had to let all that go.
So wait, so you sold your dance company to like something that it's like still out there?
I didn't have the opportunity to sell it because, like I said, you manage to meet not so good energies that, or people, I shouldn't say energies, but people that don't have good intentions, more of a self-serving sabotage. If you don't give it to me, then I'm going to
I
destroy.
can see what you're talking about. I can see what happens because I like to call them do-overs, and now
Yeah.
what that looks like, what that feels like, and it seems like you're going for another go at it, but this time you are
Much smarter.
this is
I
good.
don't need that overhead. That overhead was humongous. And I mopped my floors myself, even when I would have other instructors throw their socials and parties, they would clean up and mop the floor, but I did it, and I had to do it simply because I wanted my floors to be blessed.
So I have a question because this is so great. Like now that I'm really listening. Um so your overall dream was that you wanted to have a hub where creatives can come And can you explain a little bit more about that? Because I feel like with what you're embarking on right now, with even adding the holistic nature to it and just your ability to lead and create this space for many, I feel like is on where you're doing it, which is, I've kind of gone back and forth with the whole virtual thing, or there's another word called remote, right?
Mhm.
And being able to kind of reach more people that way, reach,
Yeah.
just many more people. And so and even like tying your name into it. Now I'm understanding, because I think before I was looking at yours as more of holistic. And
Uh-huh.
now I'm seeing it is like 50% holistic, because everything is 50% holistic.
Mhm.
But the other 50% is this amazing hub for creatives to come and have a space to now. What was your dream in the other, with the dance studio and everything? Like, it would be like, say, all different types of art other than dance too, and then you would like kind of interweave the holistic into that. Tell me.
Right before COVID, I did have a group of singers that would come through from Atlanta. And so, I basically had my studio open 24 hours because they would need a place to rehearse while they were on the road. And so it gave me a chance to see what it would take to incorporate acoustics and things of that nature to be able to hold sound in the individual rooms that I did have, because I had two large rooms, one for ballroom, because in ballroom we dance from wall to wall, and dance fitness and more of the performing art style dancing, you dance like in a stage format, which
Mhm.
had separate in a separate room. And so I had a smaller room that was like 500 square feet, and that was more so for smaller groups that needed rehearsal space. And then I had two smaller rooms that were like around, actually, I had named the rooms the square footage so I could keep it straight in my mind. That were
I love that.
510 and 223.
That's a great idea. Okay, I'm using that. Okay, yeah.
And so in those smaller rooms, it was like one-on-one type of private lessons type thing.
Okay.
And so the ballroom was right in the front, off the front door. So when you walked in, it would be me. I would be there greeting people to make sure that they use the hallway to walk around the dance floor,
Yeah.
honor the space. And so when these other people would hear about, other performers would hear about Click Studios, they would make their appointment through the website and come in. And so because I was 24 hours, it kept them discreet. And so by being discreet, they didn't have to deal with I want to say fans, groupies. And
Yeah.
so they could have the freedom to be able to do
Oh
whatever.
my God, Tag, you are so right on with this. This is so
Yeah.
awesome. I can feel this for you, like opening up. Oh, I don't like, what keeps coming to my mind is personal trainer, but it's far beyond that, where I would believe that this is your niche, that because you know the language of the artist. You know the language of the artist. And this is what I see. And I got goosebumps everywhere, girl, right now, because this is what I see, and I'm even gonna cry.
Yeah.
Artists are sick. They're like, they struggle to stay healthy because there's so much demand on them, and kind of like what you're talking about, like just serving the people on a mass scale the way they do, it can really take away from the ability to self heal, and our the individuality that we have. And if you're not, you need a lot of support in that area.
Because it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I really do think that, like,
lifestyle.
I mean, is that kind of your jam right now? Is that what you want to reach, these dancers, these singers, these artists, painters, anything that where performers of sort, where they really need, they're always on the road. They need somebody like you and what you're doing to come in and do, the
Yeah.
diagnostic testing, set up some type of plan, holistic plan. What does it look like on the road? All that stuff.
That was my big picture, along the way. It was supposed to unfold into exactly what you were saying. However, in 2023, yeah, because this is 2025. Okay, so someone shot up. Well, right after COVID, let me just rewind here. Right after COVID, and we were able to open up again, which I have to thank my clientele for keeping me open behind that, because there weren't, I mean, there wasn't any money, it takes.
Yeah, it was crazy. I remember. Yeah.
And so I had a lot of supporters come through to keep the doors open during that whole year of 2020. And so, and the Dallas hit a winter freeze in 2021, and my studio flooded. Yes, it was 9,000 square feet that had flooded, front wall to wall, front to back. And the landlord had decided that he wasn't going to sell to me. And God, it's just so much ugliness that had happened.
Yeah.
So the insurance company completely screwed me on that. And I said, well, I had a handful of instructors that wanted to follow with me. And I'm like, okay, it's just time to regroup and let's open someplace else. And so I opened someplace else. I scaled down because by this time, I'm like, I could not find a building big enough like I had found before, because it takes a lot.
And everything changed with the COVID. Everybody needed. I mean, I even went to a place the other day, and the guy said that most of the workers were still doing remote work. Like, I mean, nothing is exactly the same as pre-COVID, right? So yeah.
Right. Yeah. And people dramatically cut back, because dancing it's a luxury, that's the way how the world sees it. I see it most differently. I see it as personal development.
Dancing and singing and expression should be one of the should be a priority in people's lives on a daily basis. And I completely understand what you're saying. It's like the go of the human doing, it comes as the priority in what we need to do, because everything is built off of this money system and the patriarchy and all that stuff. But ultimately, on a deeper life view, what is really important for our minds and our bodies and our serenity within our soul is the the simpler things, like using our voice, even if it doesn't carry a tune,
Yeah.
and dancing, even if it doesn't follow a rhythm, but just expression. So,
Expression, yes. And being able to self-express, there's a lot of fear behind that.
oh yeah, I agree. Okay,
A
yeah.
lot of fear.
Mhm.
So by this time, I decided to scale down and just create a smaller space because I was doing more holistic care because I had clients that were affected negatively from COVID, you know, so I was doing more healing. And then I took that time to, I took that time to get my board certifications so I could be, you know, worldly approved
Yeah.
and just totally in the zone. And
With
some,
the nutritionist, you mean, and the like the holistic certification, or what kind of stuff?
oh, yeah,
Oh,
nutritionalists, herbalists, sound healing,
okay.
Reiki healing, light healing.
Fine.
Um, you know, body work is very important when you're uh, detoxing, and emotions respond to different type of detox care. It not only is it herbs, but it's also how you talk to yourself. It's also what you hear. We can't plug up our ears all the time. It's something that
I
is
love how you're bringing up the senses. Okay, I love that.
the senses. So detoxing, if you're not careful with detoxing, because it's much more than just taking a bag of detox pills. It can kill you, you know, and cause more trauma that you're going to have to heal from. And so I needed to make sure that I had my board certifications completed and stuff. And it's really hard to believe that someone would want to come through and destroy the thing that I was creating to help others. It wasn't just out, it just wasn't me. It was everyone.
Well, two things come to my mind because you're reminding me of my amazing and wonderful. I'll give her a shout out. My singing instructor of 10 years, Diana Domingo. Girl, you are the shit. And I remember her talking to me a lot of times, and I actually saw it firsthand quite a few times where she would have these magnificent ideas and creatives, and somebody would steal it right out from underneath her. And I think that is because you know, when you're very good at that, like everybody wants a piece of the pie, right? And so I believe, and this is what I believe for her too, is that that's the lesson that you guys have of discernment and really knowing how much and who to give it to, and you will get burned until you learn that. To I think it's all about self-love, right? And I mean, I have also lessons like that. They look a little bit different because my talents reside in and other kind of, it looks different, right? And so, but I have been burned and discernment and other certain ways. Most of mine is like spiritual work, but yes, I see how amazingly talented you are, and I cannot wait to see how it all unfolds for you, because I really do see that it's for you, it's much more than just menopause and helping people. And I really see that the how you lead the artistic people, the artistic world. Like you are a leader in that, and I know that if I was somebody, say, who wanted singing lessons or dancing lessons, it would be definitely from somebody. I would want to sit with somebody who has the ability to bring that holistic aspect into it. Um, and I remember this from Diana too. She was my favorite teacher. She was my favorite teacher. She was not, and I say this too, and this is like, it's so like, now I can see who you are a little bit more, and thank you. I honor that. Because I always said, well, I went to her for singing lessons, but I know she was my spiritual teacher.
Yes. You get so much more. You get so much more, you know?
It was my first like real spiritual guide. Like
Yeah.
she really was, and she saw into my heart and the singing aspect, and this too I'll bring in, like, even in my healing modalities, when I do healings and when I do just whatever, when it has to do with nutrition or holistic of any sort, I bring in a lot of the lessons that I learned through voice class, because if you can't express and open up these chakras, these energy centers within our body, it is the foundation of everything we do in life, not just singing, but like speaking our truth at our job, with our children, blah, blah, blah.
It's how we cope. That energy has to go somewhere, you know. I just chose dance as my vessel, because I came, it's something that I loved. It's always been in my life. And I touched a lot of people that way, as far as their holistic journey. There are some people who didn't want it. They were good at a certain level, and that's fine too. But the fact that I was able to contribute as much as I did, that alone, there's no amount of money or words that you can put with that I wouldn't want to continue down that route.
I want to just give a little reminder. We probably need to wrap things up in the next couple of minutes, because you have something at 1:30.
But there is something I need to release.
Okay.
Because it is trauma based, and I have been unpacking this since 2024.
Okay.
I had hit and I know it was because of I became a threat to some people of what I was doing, and they decided that they were going to unleash on me. And my studio was shot up, and when I say I walk around barefoot, I walk around barefoot all the time, because I'm not running from anything. You understand? So the fact that I couldn't protect the dream myself, not only did my son disappear, but during that time, but I also became homeless. And I'm like, wow, as much as I gave and as much as I contributed to the community, the fact is that I still want to do it. The fact is that nothing can keep me away from it. Not even the smear campaign that was committed against me cannot keep me away. This is how I know that I am in my divine calling. As much as I've tried to stifle it and push it down and push it away and give up on it, it just won't disappear.
Okay.
So I've had to make a different approach to it. And that's okay, because I'm still in alignment with what was seeking me, you know. So
And I feel like it's really important for everybody to go through the dark night of the soul.
yeah,
Well, and I want, I would want from my guide somebody who has experienced that,
yeah.
because it's important.
They can
Because,
identify with the pain that you're going through.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not all textbook. It just isn't. And
right.
anyone,
And somebody who can express
yeah,
that, right? Because a lot of times people will be going through this or have gone through this, and they have to hide. They have to hide that part of themselves, and that is the piece that is, I find, that is inauthentic. I think that we should be able to say, yes, I do have hardships. I do go through these things. That doesn't take away anything from my teachings. It actually adds to it. So, yeah.
it adds to it. Yes, absolutely. Now, this has been a really great conversation, and Tracy, I really appreciate you wanting to hear more and allowing me to share and keeping that space open for me. I just have so much gratitude and appreciation from where I came from to where I'm at now. And for the first time in my life, I can honestly say that I wouldn't have changed a thing. I never understood that before. I'm like, if you could do something easier, something better without the strain, why wouldn't you want to do it? But now I understand. And this is the first time in my life I've had the freedom to express the way how I truly feel. And I can't help but to be in gratitude and appreciation about it. I don't have to put any effort into it anymore, you know?
Yeah.
So thank you. And that pretty much wraps up our time. So I want to thank our viewers for showing up today. And if you want to know more about me or Tracy Constantine and our practice, it's going to be in the pin comments. Hello, not the condoms. The pin comments. I'll also add it in the description just in case you want to read through all this. But if not, that's fine too. So any
And
last,
I am wearing a shirt just in case. Just a strapless today. That's all. I look naked, don't I? Yeah. Whatever.
yeah, it's you being you. What can I say?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. And we will catch you next video.
Peace.